Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, here. Have you always wondered how photographers get the perfect picture? Well, I've been a photographer for almost 4 years, and I'm about to explain to you how to shoot in manual. So you can shoot in automatic or you can shoot in manual, but shooting in manual, the quality is so much better and you can do so much more with your pictures. So by the end of this, you should be able to know the 3 most important camera settings to shooting in manual. So the first setting I'm going to talk about is shutter speed. And basically what that is it's just how fast the camera takes the picture. So the higher the shutter speed, the faster the camera is going to take the picture. Lower the shutter speed, the slower the camera is going to take the picture. So if you have a higher shutter speed, it's taking it so fast that it's not taking in as much light. If you have a lower shutter speed, it takes it so slow that it takes in a lot more light. So I'm about to show you the sound. So this is going to be on a really high shutter speed. So I'm gonna put it all the way up to like 1250, and if you listen, you'll hear how fast it takes the picture. Super fast, but it wasn't that much light. See, it's like a super black picture because there was such a high shutter speed. Now I'm gonna do a really low shutter speed all the way to 4, and you'll hear how slow it takes to take the picture. See, it was much slower, but it took in way more light. Now, if you do a faster shutter speed, you'll do that for like moving objects or motion pictures. Slow shutter speed is for still objects like landscape or something. So the next setting I'm going to talk about is aperture, and what aperture means is it's just how big of an area you want the lens to focus on. So if you are focusing on a smaller object like a family or just a person, then you're going to want a higher aperture so that it focuses on a smaller object and the background will be blurry. If you're focusing on a bigger object like landscape, then you want your aperture to be lower so that none of the background is blurry, you just have a clear picture. I typically shoot families and objects, so I have a higher aperture so that I can have a nice blurry background and that it focuses on that one object. But people who shoot weddings or rental properties, they'll probably shoot in a lower aperture because they don't want any of it to be blurry. So the last setting I'm going to talk to you about is ISO, which according to Ashwin from Picture Correct, it stands for International Organization of Standardization. So basically what ISO is it's the amount of light you're letting into the camera. So the higher the ISO, the more light you're going to let in the camera. The lower the ISO, the less light you're going to take in to your camera. So if you are in a dark setting, you're going to need a higher ISO. If you're out in the sun or just a bright fluorescent lighting, you're going to need a lower ISO so it doesn't take in as much light. But if the higher the ISO, the more pixely the picture gets. So I'd say if you have to go with an ISO any higher than 600, I would probably just go ahead and shoot in flash because that picture is just going to be so pixely. But I'm going to show you here the difference between a higher and a low ISO. So I'm going to do a low ISO right now with no flash. And if you can see, it's super dark because it didn't allow much light in. Now I'm gonna do a high ISO. I'm gonna do it all the way up to 1600, which normally for a normal photo shoot, I would not do that, but just in this setting, I'm going to. And you can see it allowed much more light in. So I have now explained to you the 3 most important settings to shooting manual. And I hope that it taught you a lot, and I hope maybe those automatic photographers will learn how to start shooting in manual.